The alarm's going off, man. Stop hitting snooze. I need you. If you're looking to feel like warm and fuzzy inside, like I'm your guy. So they're in my top 20 EHL teams for sure. There's emotion, there's hatred. This is not like a very friendly series. It's like SpongeBob when he's got like the napkin and like the potato chip. Like that's how I feel. Listen, Colson, I didn't have fun. Everything in my body hurts right now. The team that has the lead in the second period is just not going to win that game. There's no need for air quotes. He's tardy all the time. It's the American thing to do. I was alive, just not very. No, don't get pucks deep. Hang on to the puck. Pass the puck. Shoot the puck. Are we live? Are we live? We're having a good time. JKP, baby. JKP. Hello, EShow, and welcome into another edition of our Summer Coaches Series podcast, where we sit down and talk to every single coach across the EHL. And up next for the East Division is the Boston Junior Eagles' Coach Moran, fresh off their first season here in the Eastern Hockey League. So, Coach Moran, thank you for being here.
No, thanks for having us. It's great. Thank
Yeah,
you for everything you
absolutely.
do for the boys, actually.
I
All of them.
appreciate that. They're
No, they
awesome.
appreciate it. It's awesome.
That's
Fantastic.
it, man. They make it all worth it. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, they're a pretty funny crew.
They were awesome, and your first year in the league is now all said and done. Earned a playoff spot, had some big wins, moved multiple guys onto college hockey. So when you think back of this first group of Eagles here in the EHL, what kind of things stand out to you?
Just that the whole group, they came every day to work. I think that we only had a couple kids that had played juniors before, so they were a bunch of rookies, even though they were older kids. But they came every day. They worked really hard. They played for each other. I thought was really important. Their compete was off the charts. Sometimes they crossed the line a little bit, but that happens. But it was they were a really fun group to be around. Had a great time coaching them.
Yeah, and very first game of the year, I was there. I talked to you. We did an interview, and you said you wanted the team identity to be focused on working towards a common goal and working towards that goal together. You know, that group always appeared pretty tight knit, and like you said, they had a good amount of grit to their game. So, what areas do you really think they lived up to in terms of being that identity?
Well, I think their competes are off the chart. I don't think there was a game where you could say that they weren't working. I think there would actually be times that they worked too hard. Um, but they came every day. They worked hard. They were on the ice, ready for practice, ready to go. It didn't matter what we were doing. They were ready to learn and ready to work. I think they knew from the beginning of the year that their identity would be, not a skill group where they're going to outskill anyone, but they thought that they could work and kind of take the other team's will away just by being aggressive and playing hard and finishing their checks. And um, early in the year we got into quite a bit of penalty trouble, but as it went in, I thought they settled down and figured out how to play and play for each other and play with some purpose. But they literally they worked their asses off. It was great. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you did mention also in that interview that as far as, the guys that you've noticed that get to move up in this world of hockey, it's about doing the basic things better and faster, not necessarily skilling it up. So, what are some examples of the way that you guys kind of focused on that at the day-to-day with the Eagles?
Um, we just did it. I mean, this is going to sound crazy and so basic, but everything we did was just passing, passing, passing. Try to get them to pass the puck as much as possible. The first couple days, I had a kid tell me that his hands hurt because he never passed the puck so much. And I literally responded, "That's why you're with me right now." But we did a lot of games-based stuff on transition, trying to get them to understand the concepts of moving the puck quickly and get from defense to offense as quickly as you can. The times we got ourselves in trouble, I thought we were over aggressive and just ended up on the wrong side of the puck or cheated to the wrong side of the puck. But in general, everything we worked on, the practice was primarily skill based, but skills not stick handling and doing ridiculous stuff with toe drags. It was more move the puck, move your feet, get it back, play with a purpose, shoot purposefully. So that and then that all carries over into playing for each other.
What was the who was the player that said their hands were hurting?
Mikey Bourgeois.
Like keep it short. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Uh,
The meat in between his thumb and his index finger was sore.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But early on in the season, you had guys that were playing out of position as the roster was filling out a little bit more. So what kind of buy-in did you see from those guys right away who were willing to do things that maybe they weren't always comfortable doing?
Yeah, I mean, our roster was primarily defensemen, the kids that had grown up playing D all along. And, when we were talking to them and we were telling them to bring them in, with the college rosters getting smaller, we just told them they'd have an opportunity to get on a roster with the more positions they could play. we had kids that played, they're off wing. We had kids that played center that had never played center before. We had, we didn't have any forwards go back to play D, but we definitely had defensemen that were playing up. There were times that we had, you know, actually a lot of times, most every game we had five defensemen on the ice at times because we had kids that had grown up playing D that were playing, center, left, and right wing, and or playing the off wing, and they all bought in. I think they were all, truthfully, I think they're all athletic kids, and they understood the sports and the positioning of it. They just had to get used to something else, and I think in the long run it works to their advantage because they had to put the team first, which is huge. And they learn to play a different position, which will hopefully help them when they get to their next team.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of guys are moving on to different levels now, whether it be club or NCAA. And by
Yeah.
December, you guys were 12-8-1, third place spot in the best division from this past season in the EHL. So you mentioned at the beginning a lot of guys jumping into junior hockey for their first time. How do you think that, first couple month adjustment period was to the EHL for a lot of those guys?
Um, I think it was good. I think they were having fun. We tried to make a fun environment at the rink for practice that they enjoyed coming and try to get them to learn concepts. It wasn't like we were trying to change the world with what we were trying to teach them. It was just the basic concepts of the system that could carry on to the next level for them. I think probably one of the biggest adjustments would just be the majority of the kids that hadn't played a full season ever, where they've been playing prep, and prep is like a 12-week sprint with a Christmas break mixed in there. So they, come to the rink every day and being accountable to work out and being accountable on the ice and being ready to go every day. Beginning of the year, we had some longer practices, and as the year goes on, I think everybody knows you shorten them up. But I think it was probably just the day to day of coming and not only being accountable to yourself, but accountable to your teammates that you're gonna be ready to go.
Yeah, and the second half was a little bit more up and down for you guys, just simply wins and losses wise. So when you have guys who are playing that length of a season for the first time, maybe not experiencing that kind of a dog days of a season kind of thing, how was it managing that?
It was good. I mean, I think the times when we had some losses strung together, we carried a roster that was essentially the team. We didn't have any extra players. We didn't have a healthy scratch all year. Everybody was, if you were healthy, you were playing and you were contributing. We did have guys miss games with injuries. I think that impacted where we were. There's no doubt when Brady O'Connor got hurt that hurt us. We were a few games above 500 and playing well, and then he got hit and broke his finger and was done for the rest of the year. So Brady might not have had, been leading the team in scoring, but his two-way effort and playing center, killing penalties, taking key draws, we really missed him. So when he got hurt, I don't think we were actually able to replace him. Um, but I think in general, the kids, they did a great job. The ups and downs are part of it. With a hardworking team that's not going to outskill you, there's going to be ups and downs in the season, and you just have to work and grind. And all of our guys are more than willing to do that. They worked their butts off no matter what was going on. So I was really proud of them for that.
Definitely. And one thing that really didn't waver all season though was the PK numbers. They were always amongst,
Yeah.
top three in the league. They were number one for a long, long time. You killed a lot of penalties when you were in the NHL. So, what kind of lessons did you pass on to this group here that they were able to do the same thing so successfully?
I mean, just simple things. I think probably every coach is teaching them about when to pressure, when to sit back. Um, they were we were pretty aggressive all over the ice. I think most of the killers in the league are pretty aggressive, and that makes sense. If the guy's looking at you and his eyes are up, it doesn't make sense to run at him. But as soon as there's a puck on the wall, we pressure and try to pressure 3+1 and do what we could to take it away. Again, I think our numbers at the end dipped when we lost Brady. I think it probably took a pretty steep dive there at the end of the year, just because he was very important with taking key draws in the D zone when we were killing. But it's just, honestly, when we were recruiting the kids, we told them when they moved on to the next level that the odds are they weren't going to go in and be running the power play, but if they can contribute in a 5-on-5 situation where they could keep the momentum or change the momentum in a positive way for their team, or if they could be counted on to kill a penalty, they're going to have more value to the college coaches that are looking at them. So we try to get everybody killed penalties. We had a first power play unit. Our power play struggled, but that was all part of it. But the penalty kill, every kid on the team got out killed penalties and had a pretty good understanding of what we were trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even I think without Brady, you guys were still top three in the league. So It was something.
Yeah, Brady hurt when Brady got hurt. That definitely his injury hurt the group. I mean, he's got a real workman-like attitude. He comes and he brings it. He's there early. He trains hard. He holds the guys accountable without being vocal or screaming at them in a negative way. He had a very workman-like presence. And honestly, I think we were a few games above 500 when he got hurt. We really truly we never really recovered after that. It was tough. It was really difficult to replace the minutes he provided, what he could do.
Yeah, no, he's one of the best kids in this league, and he earned himself a commitment. So I mean,
Yeah,
paid off for him all
he did
that,
a great job. Great kid. He's a great kid.
no doubt. I was lucky to get to know him at the college series. It's always a great opportunity to get to know the guys, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Oh,
awesome.
for sure. You have a great job. You get to know all the kids and
Oh, it's
all the,
I
I mean,
can't
I get,
complain about a thing, man. It's perfect.
oh yeah. I mean, I get to watch from the bench all the nonsense and the foolish things that are said, but some of the kids I get a real kick out of all the stuff that comes out of their mouths. It's hysterical.
Absolutely. They're all characters. And they're
Yeah.
so different. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, for
And
sure.
getting into more of the makeup of these guys, I mean, you gave a number of EHLP guys from the previous season an opportunity. Anthony Venezia is moving on to college hockey. Mike Bourgeois was his teammate in the P. He really found his groove in the middle of the year. Joey Curtatone, he'll be back for you. So for the first year of the team, why was it important for you to set that precedent of giving guys an opportunity that may not have gotten them elsewhere?
I think just think with my playing career that you see guys that are, there's certain guys that are going to be skilled, they're going to be unique, and they're going to be able to get the power play, or they're going to be able to make guys miss in offensive situations. And my feeling was you had kids that had track records at different levels where they had been a key guy and they had played and they had put up points, and they had been someone that their coaches in a previous spot had relied on. And to me, just with an expansion team and what we were trying to do and the type of character kids we were trying to get, all those guys fit in. Mikey and Tony were excellent. I mean, they came in from day one and they worked and were part of it and were always early on the ice and wanted to stay late and wanted to talk, and they were excellent. But I do think when for us what we were trying to do last year, we were looking at kids who had had success at lower levels, and even if it hadn't been at the EHL level, we thought that they could come in and they can contribute, and we could teach them some of the character thing. Their character is what allowed them to learn and do well, which they should be proud of themselves, and their parents should be proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of those guys, Manny Gomez, who spent a year in the Premier here in the EHL. Yeah, you're smiling already.
Man, he's a rock star.
I love Manny.
Yeah.
I know Manny perhaps more better than any guy in this league. Wears super tight, so he became one of your top scorers in the new year. How did you see him grow in that second half, and what expectations do you have for him in this upcoming season?
The biggest thing for Manny when he came was he just played full speed all the time. I mean, he was full speed no matter what. If he was F1, he was full speed. If he was F3, he was full speed. Back check, he was full speed. And we tried to get him to understand playing with a change of pace. There's times to go full speed, and there's times that you could play half. And once he started to incorporate that, and he also has a heater of a shot, and he would had a tendency to miss the net. So we started to tell him it didn't have to be 7,000 miles an hour. If he just hit the net and created rebounds and drove the net looking for rebounds, his tenacity and his work ethic would lead to second opportunities for himself for his line mates. And he grasped it. He did a great job. He is a wonderful kid. Like I can't say enough positive things about Manny. He's hysterical, works hard, easy to smile. He's quick. He can make fun of himself. Like all the things you want in a kid or in a teammate. Manny was it. He came in eager, stepped right in the locker room. There was there was like no awkwardness whatsoever with him. He came on and was ready to go. One of the best things he came in the first day, and there were some people around the rink asked if that was Manny because I don't know how they do him, but they did, which I thought was hysterical. So he's a wonderful person, really and truly. I know I get a kick out of Manny. He's awesome.
And he has that aura about him. He has that aura,
Oh,
like
he
people
just
know
does. Yeah, he's just he's just a ray of positivity. He's awesome.
exactly.
And I get pissed at him. I'd almost feel badly that I'm yelling at him. But we'll call that coaching.
Yeah, exactly. It falls under that umbrella. No worries. He
Yeah.
doesn't hold it against you. Don't worry.
Oh, I love him. He's fantastic. He's a great kid.
And on the blue line, you guys had some impressive guys. Jerry Cahill was a guy that I really liked, but Brady Clark,
Yeah.
assumption commit, and one of the top scoring defensemen in the league. As a defenseman yourself in this day and age, how important is it for defensemen to be able to chip in all situations and do things like Brady did?
So I like Clarkey. Clarkey was everything I would hope he would be, and then some. He he moves the puck really well. He positionally he's very sound. He was a leader from day one. His expectations were high for his teammates in practice. His expectations were to win. He's a very competitive kid. He has a heater of a one timer, and one of the things that we really try to get him to do is understand to use that as a weapon and not shy away from it because he has a really good shot. Um, Clark, a kid that I had known since he was little. I'd probably known him since he was a squirt from watching him play or coaching against him. And you get like an opinion of a kid when you're coaching against him. Like, oh, you can tell his teammates like him. You can tell the coaches respect him. He treats the refs respectfully. All that kind of thing. And then when Clarky came, he had played in the league and had success, and it would have been real easy for him to big time what was going on. And he bought right in from the beginning, and honestly, he was everything I had hoped for and more. He was just a great kid, early to work out, stayed late, always with a smile on his face. He was awesome. I don't want to say he was like the big name acquisition. I think that's kind of would be an awkward thing to say for the EHL, but for us, he was a huge acquisition just because he set the tone right from the first practice, and it was great.
Yeah, no, I mean it's always good to have proven guys, so I think that's a completely fair statement to make. And I think part of the EHL is coaches working together to find guys the right home, if even if
Yeah.
it isn't that one. So it worked out for
Yeah, no, Nick was awesome. They were great. We talked to him, and they didn't think he was, whatever they had their roster, what they were doing, and we knew that he would play a key role for us and play big minutes. And and the Walpole organization was awesome, letting allowing us to get him, and it was great. Brady was wonderful for us. He was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Another all-star as well. And in goal, you guys never had any concerns. Caden Pascalone was awesome all season long.
Yeah.
Had a pretty hefty workload, just in terms of game count. So, what confidence did he give your group when he was in goal?
Uh, Caden was fantastic. He came in the first day, and I don't think he had any idea what to expect. And the rink where we have a really nice gym set up, and the kids train hard. And the first day he came in, and Jeremy Swayman was holding out, and he went up and he saw Swayman working out, and I literally think it kind of set the tone for if he's working this hard there, getting in early and taking care of himself, and the extra workouts and the rollouts and the prehab or the pre-practice routine and the post-practice routine. And Caden stepped right into it, and he was dynamite for us. He was. I mean, you were at some of the games without him, we gotten blown out. He was, we were doing everything we could to make sure he had a high save percentage. So he was great. Caden was awesome. He was a absolute rock for us without a doubt. And he never the other thing in practice, like he easily like he'd have games where he's getting ridiculous amounts of shots, and you tell him the next day he could take practice off, and he'd come out early and stay late and take extra shots. And he wasn't a fan of one timers by his ears, but I don't think any goalie is. But he was great. He was dialed in right from the beginning, and came to play. It was awesome.
Yeah, he was one of the best. Perhaps maybe a
Yeah.
little bit
Oh, for sure.
overlooked.
Yeah.
He was awesome. And one final guy we have to mention is your son, Luke Moran, who had a solid year for you guys. And how much did you
Yeah.
cherish just getting to work with your son when one more year before he heads south for college?
No, it was awesome. It was a ton of fun. The majority of the kids on the team I had known beforehand. There was a bunch that grew up playing together, and I was one of the coaches on that team. At the U13 level, decided that Luke needed to hear a different voice. He didn't need to have me yelling at him to brush his teeth and also to back check or forecheck or whatever. But as far as like the day to day of being able to spend time with him and his buddies and kids that he had grown up with, it was huge. I had a blast. He knew whenever we had a 10-minute penalty or a misconduct that he was going to the box to serve it. So he had some good penalty minutes. I think he got over 100 minutes, and he likes to chat a little bit. And he does some research, so he says some funny stuff. But it was great. I mean, it was something that I'll always remember and cherish. That I was able to coach him one last time, because I didn't at U13. I thought that was it, and he'd be going on. And then when the Eagles came on with they were thinking about the EHL, and there were a couple other teams that had talked to him, and it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun. He still needs to brush his teeth more, but it was a ton of fun.
What was that initial conversation like when he decided to come to you guys for his age out year?
Well, he knew we were doing it, and I think we kind of both talked about it at the same time that if we were going to do it, if the Eagles were going to do it, that he would come and play for us. And then it was who could we get of his peers or kids around prep hockey, New England hockey that were great kids that would want to be part of an expansion team. You're probably going to struggle. You're not going to win as much as some of the others, and we kind of focused early. So there's like 4 or 5 kids that we had focused early that we thought we could get, with Luke being one of them and Gerald Cahill being one. We thought Brady Erickson was going to end up with us somewhere along the line. And then we thought we had an idea that Max O'Connell was going to end up too. And then once Max and Charlie were in, we thought we'd get Caden. So it all just kind of fell together. But it was it's kind of Luke and Gerald doing their thing with being annoying in a certain way and convincing kids that they should come and play because they're going to have a good time.
So they deserve a little stipend for recruiting.
Oh, for sure. They're good. They're recruiting together still.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for a final note, every year in the EHL for any team is a learning experience, but obviously the first one is probably the biggest. Are there any lessons that you're carrying with you into your second season, in the EHL?
I think for us, with what we're going to try to do, we're continuing trying to recruit kids that are high character kids that have been leaders on their previous teams and maybe been overlooked. It's the recruiting aspect of it last year. We were definitely delayed in figuring out, who was going to be interested in coming and who wasn't. And I think we misjudged it, truthfully. So at the beginning of the year, we were kind of scrambling. So this year, I think we're a little bit more dialed in. We're not wasting our time, going to different events where we know we're not going to pull anybody out of. There are a few summer tournaments coming up where we think we can get a couple of kids. I think we have a unique situation where we are with our rink is really nice. The locker room is nice. The facility is beautiful. The gym is excellent. The gym is a phenomenal piece for the recruiting. They work out up there. It's with Bando Performance, and it's pretty cool for the kids to get up there and see. Like last year we talked about Swayman was up there working out. Patrice Bergeron's up there working out 4 or 5 days a week. And not that makes a difference in how they play, but I think it's eye-opening for the kids to get up there and see the Hall of Famers up there still working out just as hard as they are, if not harder. But for us, it's always going to be we're looking for high character kids that were leaders wherever they're coming from. So that it's a difficult league to play in. It's very competitive. All of our games were close games. The kids play hard. The coaches coach hard. It's a really fun league to be involved in. So that's the thing. We're looking for kids that would be pulling for each other. Basically the same kind of thing as this year.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're extremely grateful to have you and the Eagles organization a part of it.
That's a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, it was a great first year and all great things, hopefully, for the second. Best of luck in recruiting season, and thank you very much for taking your time.
Yeah, no, honestly, Jake, just so everybody out there knows, if the boys are unbelievably lucky to have you around. I'm dead serious. Your suits are fantastic, all that kind of stuff, but the amount of effort and the time and the prep you put in for the boys is the league is very, very fortunate to have you involved because you do an exceptional job.
That means a lot, man. Thank you very much.
For sure.
It's all about them. We love it.
Yeah, it's all good. Thank you very much for having me today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the EShow, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.